So this is the second part of the series on new Emacs, and we already had actually done this, opening Emacs, shutting and suspending Emacs, but I'm going to repeat what I did in the last video a little bit from time to time because I'm moving quite fast, and if you have done this for the very first time, I need to give you a little time to do things on your own. So I'm going to show again how to shut Emacs down. The assumption is you have an Emacs buffer up like this one, and if you now type Control X, this is one command which should show up on the left-hand side of your screen here, down below. I'm not going to click on it, but you can see my mouse where it is. And then you press Control C, Control X, and then Control C, then Emacs will disappear. Go back to the terminal if you started it from the terminal. If you started it from the desktop, then of course you will not see this terminal, because this terminal window, which on Windows opens together with Emacs, will also disappear. So now I can type Emacs -NW if I only want a terminal Emacs, no graphics, but I want graphics. I just don't want the configuration file. I'm going to start this again. Here is Emacs. I'm going to make this a little bigger, a little larger for me, and change the font again since this is too small for me. So I'm going to go Control X, Control equal. Again, you don't see this second command. It immediately jumps into the mode where it shows you what to do now. So with plus, I can now make the font really large. With minus, as long as I'm in this mode, I can make it really small. And I'm going to stay here. And as soon as you type another command, this mode disappears, and the plus and the minus will no longer give you enlarging or the option of making things larger or smaller. Right, there's another way, another thing you could do here, namely you could only just suspend Emacs if you wanted to. That is by Control Z. So that's one command, Control Z. And by the way, I'm going to say this later in the tutorial as well. If you make some mistakes, so for example, let's say you type Control U by mistake, and you see it at the bottom, Control U, Control T, and then you make a mistake, you get a sound, depending on how your sound settings are. But if you make a mistake like that and you really wanted to type Control Z, you can type Control G to quit. And Emacs will, in this message area down here, or echo area, will tell you that the command is quit and that it's returned to the pristine state. So I'm just going to do Control Z. Actually, I'm not going to do it because it will bring me back to the terminal, and then I have to start another terminal. But this is another possibility to suspend it if you want to. You know why you would want to. So we talked about opening the Emacs tutorial. Just going to do that again. Control H, you see it at the bottom, and then this Control H command, by the way, I'm going to have that in the tutorial, so I'm going to say it is a general command for help information. So you can now type question mark to see all the different things that you can do. You can look for a pattern, you can look for particular keys, you can look for functions, for methods, and you can just type apropos, which is a general search function that gives you a bunch of different possibilities. Now, what I did is Control H, and I wanted to do T, which leads to the tutorial. So I'm going to do that, and it says again, you want to resume the last position. I'm going to say no, and I get to the top of the tutorial. Now, you remember probably, since this is too small for you, how to make it larger, the font, Control X, Control equal sign, and then just type plus. I'm going to go back to the start buffer. Two ways of doing this. I could either type Control H, Control A, or I could go Control A, X, B at the bottom, which is switch to buffer. That's the last buffer I visited, and I'm going to go there, and I'm here. Right. So let's finish this tutorial thing up, and now the most important stuff, reading a file into Emacs. Emacs is mostly file management. That's what you do all day long if you work in it, and consists of different steps that we're going to go through in this video. Downloading a text file, opening an empty file, then copy or insert the file into Emacs, and then save the file into Emacs. So we're going to do the first thing, and I'm going to just close all these headlines so they don't disturb us. I'm going to open them as soon as we get on and I make this into the main buffer as well. So download the file. First of all, open a browser and go to this address. You can also follow this link if you like. So I'm going to type Control C, Control O in my Emacs, and this will open this window. And here you see the file. It's in GitHub. It's in the repo for org, Emacs, emacs.txt. That's the file. And there's different ways of doing that. You can either copy the raw contents into your clipboard by clicking on the copy icon. So there is a copy icon here, which I can see right now. Here it is, this one, copy raw contents. That's one possibility. I'm just going to do this, and it will give you a check sign to say that's successful. Now, if this doesn't work, you could also click on raw. Sometimes it doesn't work. In the classroom, I've tried this and it didn't work. You could click on raw, and this opens the entire file in a separate buffer. And now you can just click Control A, which means select everything, and then right click and copy this text. Either way, I have it in the clipboard now, the clipboard of my PC. So what I need to now do is go to the Emacs window frame, which I have here, this frame, and type this command, Control X, Control F. So Control X, Control F. And you see at the bottom, find file. It says here, down here, find file. And what is suggested to me here is something called ~/ which is a shortcut for my home directory. And all I do here is I'm going to enter, and we first deviate from the instructions a little bit, going to enter emacs.txt. And if I now press enter, in the tutorial, this is RET for return, then you can see the text here. Actually, what you won't see is, so you won't see Emacs text. I made a mistake. I'm going to go out of this and delete my file so you can see actually what's going on. I already did this exercise earlier. So here, so Control X, Control F, Emacs.txt, and now I type Control Y to get the text inside. I'm going to do this a couple of times again, but now you see the file down here, Emacs.txt, the buffer name, and you see 2 stars and a dash here, which means the buffer is writable, it's modified, and it's in a local directory. So you see actually where it is. But the main thing to watch here is that 2 stars means the file is not saved yet. So I need to do that. I'm going to save that with Control X, S. Now you can see the 3 dashes here, and it says buffer is writable. You can just start write in it if you like. You see the buffer is not modified, so it's saved, and again the local directory. Now, for some of you, if you installed Emacs and you are not in this home directory, which is this directory, you can see at the top here, see users Birkenkra. If you're not in this directory, you might see something else. I'm going to go back to the start sign, and you might see when you do Control X, Control F, you might see something like this, / program files Emacs. So any path that looks like this, which tips you off that you're actually in the directory where Emacs resides, and you don't want to put programs there. You might not even have the privileges to do this. Your computer might say, no, I don't want you to do this. And then if you try to put a file here, it wouldn't work. So this is why I say here in the tutorial, you need to delete the path all the way. You can do this at the beginning just with backspace, just go to the very beginning. Then put in the shortcut for the home directory, which the computer knows you can write to because that's your own space. So you type tilde and /. And now this is different from from the backslash that you use on Windows, but Mac users, Unix users, and Linux users are used to the /. So / is a shortcut for your home directory. So now you can type again emacs.txt, I'm going to type emacs1.txt so you can see what that actually an empty file appears. Oops, actually I have that as well. So that also didn't work, this thing. I'm going to go back to my buffer, Control XB, and try this again. Emacs2.txt, and this does not exist, an empty file, and I type Control Y to put the text in. Now, I think I say this here in the text just to repeat it again. So you need to delete the path. You need to enter emacs.txt. This is what you get at the bottom of the file. In the buffer, you type Control Y, and this command Control Y stands for yanking. Yeah, it's called yank the contents of the clipboard into the file. Now, the text should show up in the buffer. We've seen this before. I'm going to go back. Here's the text. And I'm still using the mouse here. Ultimately, I won't do this, but for the time being, we haven't really learned how to move around in the buffer. So the text should show up. The file is at the moment unsaved. You see this from the 2 stars here. And so what you need to do is you need to save it in the mode line, and you save it by typing CXCS or Control X, Control S. I'm going to do this. Control X shows up in the echo area, and Control S will immediately write the file. And what you see here, the address c/user/Birkenkra/ that's what the shortcut ~/ stands for. And if I type Control XD, the command you will learn later on, I get exactly into that directory. And if I enter here, you can see the files. If I click S, I sort the file so that the last modified file will come to the top. And here you see the file that I just created. Here's the other file. I think that's enough for now. You should, at the end of this, you should see the file in the buffer. And that's it. Until the next